Rafe, I must tell you that one of the stories that we thought we'd be doing big this morning was the vice presidential debate from last night between JD Vance and Tim Waltz. Let's have a quick look at where they went on immigration.
And just to clarify for our viewers, Springfield, Ohio does have a large number of Haitian migrants who have legal status, temporary protected status.
Well, Margaret, but
thank you, Senator. We have so much to get to.
Margaret, I think it's important because
we're going to turn out of the economy. Thank you.
Margaret, the rules were that you guys were going to fact check, and since you're fact checking me, I think it's important to say what's actually going on. So there's an application called the CBP One app, where you can go on as an illegal migrant, apply for asylum or apply for parole, and be granted legal status at the wave of a Kamala Harris open border wand. That is not a person coming in, applying for a green card and waiting for 10 years. That is the facilitation of illegal immigration, Margaret, by our own leadership.
Thank you, Senator, for describing the legal process. We have so much to get to, Senator.
Those laws have been on the books since 1990.
Thank you, gentlemen.
The CBP One app has not been on the books since 1990. It's something that Kamala Harris created, Margaret.
Gentlemen, the audience can't hear you because your mics are cut. We have so much we want to get to. Thank you for explaining the legal process.
I mean, that's the state of American media. This is on CBS, which is not as bad as ABC, not as bad as CNN, but almost as bad. You could see there that JD Vance was trying to explain, you know, you call them legal. It's a bit like when people here say, oh, but all the 87% of people who apply for asylum status get asylum. And you go, well, yeah, but that's because they've been here so long waiting that they just get given it. In the same way he was saying, clearly the people who are from Haiti who have been given legal status have been given it just because they've applied for it on an app.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's quite clear.
And they cut his mic because he was trying to explain it.
Well, it was the same thing with the last debates done by, well, CNN did the last debates on the course, and you could see that they were fact-checking every single thing that Donald Trump was saying, and they let Kamala Harris get away, with everything.
And they don't want to talk about...
because immigration is the biggest weak spot for Kamala Harris. Yes. She was the immigration czar. Her one job, there's not much you have to do as vice president. She had one job to do. That was to keep the border secure. And of course, we've seen unparalleled mass immigration coming over that. But actually, what a nice contrast, what a refreshing debate this was, apart from those two harridans there, between the two actual VP candidates, who actually show that, you know, it was a reminder of the good old days of American politics, where you could be on opposite sides, but actually have a respectful debate.
Yes.
And at least, you know, in terms of Vance, great command of detail, which perhaps, you know, Trump doesn't have. Kamala also not known for being very good on the detail. You know, and you saw a very polished Vance there. I think that's a presidential candidate in the making, quite clearly.
So. And I had said before this debate took place that actually Vance will kick the backside out of Tim Waltz, because Tim Waltz is well known to be a massive lefty, somebody who doesn't really understand politics on a national level, and really is a bit of a sort of Keir Starmer toy town politician. You know, he's all very well running Minnesota, but when you're trying to put, you know, female sanitary products into every male school toilet when you know, nobody actually asked for it, that tells you an awful lot.
Well, and he's got no grasp at all of international politics. It's something he's not comfortable speaking about. That came across very well in the debates. He's a very sort of homey guy. He's there to try to give that sort of grassroots flavour to Kamala Harris.
He's very far from
it. It's, that's just it. But the reality is very different from the appearance that comes
because,
across.
I mean, you're sort of your nice uncle that comes round for Sunday lunch doesn't normally, as I say, want to put sanitary products into male toilets, and usually doesn't
my uncle.
Doesn't usually want to defund the police, you know, but there we are. Let's talk about Labour sleaze. A couple of stories that came in overnight. Page 2 of the Times. Labour take £1 million from various betting firms over the course of... again, you know, I would not give them a hard time for any of this, aside from the fact that they've been so holier than thou and so kind of, you know, ridiculous about how clean they're going to be.
Yeah, you say that, and I agree with you. Normally I wouldn't do that, but of course this is money from betting companies, right? These people made their money by exploiting the poorest people in our society, I would say, right? And this is the thing: the Labour Party claimed to be the champion of the poor, and of course we know what harm the gambling.
I mean, they want us to stop eating, you know, bad things because it's bad for us. They want us to stop going to the pub, they want to close the pubs early, they want to stop you smoking, but it's okay to take a load of money from betting firms.
And it's always been so. Remember, it was Tony Blair who liberalised the gambling laws. And ever since Tony Blair's time, the Labour Party and the gambling world have been in lockstep.
In lockstep. There we are.
Use that term. That's the real lockstep, is in the gambling world and them. And it's, you know, to see so much money being given to the Labour Party by these betting companies, you think, why is that happening? Because at the same time, at conference, for example, the Labour Party was being urged to be tighter in their regulation of these companies. So there must be a reason that the betting companies are giving so much money towards the Labour Party, and I think it needs to be exposed.
Exactly like Lord Ali. You know, it's all right for us to ask the question, what are betting companies getting out of it? But when you say to the Labour Party, what's Lord Ali getting out of it? They say, oh, well, he's already got a peerage, don't worry about it. Well, I do worry about it because I presume he's got some reason for giving, you know, £500,000 to various members of the Labour Party personally, not for campaign contributions, but to buy them clothes, to buy them sunglasses, to buy them glasses, to buy them shoes. Angela Rayner got a car at one point, you know, flats in New York, houses in Soho. I mean, it's ridiculous.
It's like Sale of the Century, isn't it?
It really is.
No, Well, of course, we know, you know, there's no such thing as a free lunch, but also we found out about Lord Ali's statements about Syria and Assad and so forth.
What was he doing meeting Assad, by the way, twice?
There's some very murky connections here, which again just goes to expose the hypocrisy of Labour, where they say one thing and behind the scenes, of course, they're up to it as much as the Tories or anybody else.
And it may not surprise you to know that Sadiq Khan is in the news this morning, because it turns out that he's taken £100,000 worth of free gifts from all sorts of people, including, you know, tickets to see Taylor Swift. I don't know what it is about Taylor Swift. They all love a free Taylor Swift ticket, you know, and I presume he'll use the same excuse as Bridget Phillipson. Well, it's very hard to turn down when you're given a free ticket to something that's hard to get. You know, ununbelievable.
Well, they're all in it, you see. There's not a single person who doesn't have their fingers in
We're all in it together.
In the lucky dip of tickets here.
Yeah.
£100,000. I mean, going through the list of things here in the Telegraph on page 10 of what he's accepted, I'm surprised he's got time to be mayor, because he's attending so many of these junkets.
I know.
These,
absolutely
international conventions and then going to football matches and boxing matches. It's amazing.
It is amazing. A couple of stories away from politics. One on page 27 of the Daily Mail. Psychologist at Tavistock groomed a boy of 15 but is still allowed to practice. This, I'm afraid, absolutely takes the biscuit. Dr. Ross Kinnaid was entrusted to treat youngsters' mental health as lead psychologist at the Tavistock and Portman NHS Foundation Trust, which of course was very much a part of the movement, if you like, of the trans brigade, who wanted to help children basically transition to a different sex. That's now been closed, right? And it's now been castigated by the Cass report, aside from anything else. He's been fired from the Tavistock and the Portman NHS Foundation Trust. However, he hasn't been suspended by the NHS, and he's still able to practice as a child psychologist.
Yeah, and he's still, you know, not suspended by the regulator that oversees that, right? It's the Care Professions Council, and this is absolutely remarkable. I mean, Tavistock at least did fire him, but this was a chap who clearly knew he was engaging with a 15-year-old boy.
Yeah.
He was caught in a sting by these vigilante paedophile groups, you know, where he met this boy in a park and so forth. And to think that someone like that can actually be allowed to remain on a register as a therapist, I mean, it's just, you think the world's gone absolutely mad.
I know, incredible. One story about the NHS as well. 1 in 20 patients now sees a doctor on a video call. Good luck with that, because normally they don't actually diagnose you very well when they see you on a video call. And the other story that I quite like is that there's a racist black police chief who's facing the sack for being racist.
Yeah, I didn't think black people could be racist.
I didn't realise.
I thought that was the new rule now.
Yeah.
Black people aren't allowed to be racist at all.
We haven't been told what his messages were, but
well, they were misogynistic, they were racist, and they were violent.
Yes.
We don't know. I don't know. We don't know against whom this racism was directed either. But of course, he's in charge of the black police force as well, in terms of race relations and so forth.
Make it up.
Claimed to be racially harassed. Claims to have been pulled over by 2 white police officers as well. Right. But as he's a senior police officer, that's the time you should look forward to. Just like wave your badge and go, Alan, what are you up to?
Rafe, good to see you. Thank you very much indeed.